I'll quickly ask you a few questions about the latest instance of judicial corruption that has come into light. Justice Verma and the entire scandal around it. There was a special committee set up by the Supreme Court. It came out with its findings. Then the matter has now reached Parliament. But it raises important questions about the accountability of judges. Your thoughts, sir?
So, in my view, Justice Verma's case has been very badly handled, rather mishandled. When the police came to know, let me assume they came to know by chance because of the fire, etc. And the first and foremost thing that they were supposed to do was to secure that place.
Yeah.
In my view, as per the jurisprudence which is existing today, the Chief Justice of India should have been contacted within minutes, if not latest by an hour, to ask him whether an FIR should be registered or not. If the Delhi police could not have access to the Chief Justice of India, then at least an FIR against unknown persons should have been registered. What Justice Verma is trying to say now is that somebody planted that money. No, if it was planted by somebody, it is more serious than Justice Verma himself, having amassed that kind of money. Now, who came with that money to plant that money, or who came with that money to give to Justice Verma? All that has not been investigated because no FIR was registered. At the time when the in-house inquiry started, the money was not there. The place had been cleaned up. So how did the police allow that place to be cleaned up completely after having seen a lot of money lying in that room?
Okay.
So that's where this case has taken a huge spin. Now today, Justice Verma is arguing that it was in my outhouse, I had nothing to do, but ultimately the phone call records, etc., have proved that he was in some manner responsible for cleaning up that place. The second most important question is that if he alleges that this was not his money, it was planted, then why did he not file an FIR immediately? Then he should have been that complainant because he's a victim in this case.
Yeah.
Somebody is trying to defame him or defame the institution. So instead of removing all the money and cleaning up the place, he should have got the FIR registered himself. Even if he was not there, he could have asked his staff. He should have ensured that the place is sealed completely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whatever evidence they have of whatever has been placed there is retained so that he can prove his innocence. But he just did the contrary. Now the third constitutional issue which arises in this case is that if you read the article in the Constitution which talks of impeachment, the article doesn't talk of judges' inquiry under the Judges' Inquiry Act. Article only talks of 2/3 majority. Judges' Inquiry Act is a independent act for looking at misdemeanor of a judge and inquiring into those facts. Now, in this case, an inquiry has happened. A very credible inquiry has happened. 3 sitting judges, 2 chief justices and a judge, senior judge of the High Court have done this inquiry. Justice Verma has participated in the inquiry. And as I said earlier, he didn't have any defense of why did he not get an FIR registered, why did he not get the place sealed, why did he get the place cleaned up. He didn't have those answers. So a credible inquiry has happened where he has participated. That inquiry was the basis for the Chief Justice of India to ask him for his resignation. So obviously, prima facie, he has been found to be guilty. When he refused to resign, the matter was sent to the President and to the Prime Minister. Now, in my view, this inquiry report itself should be the basis for voting in Parliament rather than having a committee under the Judges' Inquiry Act.
Okay.
Because the moment you appoint a committee under the Judges' Inquiry Act, you are undermining the investigation done by this committee. Although this committee is not statutory, but it is an in-house procedure which has been devised to protect judges. It is meant to protect Justice Verma. Supposing this committee had found him to be not guilty, that would have been the end of the matter. So if there is a credible inquiry which has already happened, then to have another inquiry under the Judges' Inquiry Act, according to me, would be completely unjustified, and voting should happen. But the way things are turning out, probably Parliament is going to take that route of having another independent committee for another inquiry against for Justice Verma.
So my last question before we close the discussion is that when a sitting Delhi High Court judge, and this matter came to public light, raises questions of public accountability of judges, right? There's an immense respect for judiciary in this country, but at the same time, there has been criticism that there is no transparency. There is no way to make sure that judicial corruption is tackled in this country, and they are also made accountable because they are doing a public service at the end of the day. And this case highlights that particular aspect, but we still don't have mechanisms to deal with it.
So I think the Supreme Court will have to revisit its judgment on judicial corruption, especially in the higher judiciary. And the revisit should also look at, trap cases. So under the Prevention of Corruption Act, Section 18A was inserted, which said that whenever an investigation has to happen against a public servant, permission has to be taken. But even in that section, there is an exception of excluding trap cases, where trap cases are where somebody is trapped into taking money and there is evidence of his accepting money, then of course there is no need for any permission. In my view, the Supreme Court also should have a window to take out these kind of cases. Where money is found at the residence of a judge. The safeguard still could be that FIR should definitely be registered, but it could be registered initially against unknown persons, rather than naming the judge as an accused.
Because so at least there is an inquiry.
At least there is an investigation. Now, the harm that has happened to the system, and that is something which is I feel very strongly about, is that there are people who are, doing this, pandering this justice delivery system, who are, sort of these dalals in the system who are selling these judges. If this investigation had happened, we would have known who's the person who brought in the money and who's the person who ultimately
the entire
removed the
nexus
money.
Would have been exposed.
And for what case or for what reason was the money given, which was this matter which was settled. So all that would have come. Because of this, investigation not happening in this case, because of this flip-flop by the prosecution and even to some extent by the Supreme Court, because by the time the Supreme Court came to know about this matter, which was about a week later, the money had gone from there, and there was no proof of what was found at the time when this so-called fire happened. So I think this people who are trading in justice delivery are the biggest offenders of the justice delivery system. And I can tell you, it is actually a very sad thing to say that even honest judges are being, sold day in, day out. Because every case has a 50-50 chance of going
Win
whichever
or lose,
way.
yeah.
So every day you hear of, and I know of so many of these honest judges, and people say, no, but he is completely available, saleable, so-and-so person is his dalal. These dalals are basically just taking a chance, 50% chance of quoting a huge money, and if the matter goes this way, keeping that money, and the justice delivery is, ultimately getting a very, very bad name.
I'm glad somebody like you is finally talking about it, because these have been the whispers in the Supreme Court corridors, but nobody actually.
So this is a very, very serious issue, and because of this case not going to its logical end, these people who are who are selling these judges or getting into this system of trading these judgments have gone completely scot-free. So if we want to do something really serious for bringing down corruption in the judiciary, you should first attack these people who are, the so-called dalals, touts, who are, wanting to fix cases in front of judges.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for speaking
Thank you.
with us. Thank you.